Welcome to Too Stupid for Web3, the show that makes sure you don't end up like me, too stupid to win. Each week I bring on sharp minds from across the Web3 world just to break things down in a way that actually makes sense. Whether you're just getting started or already deep in the space, we've got you covered. With crypto news, Web3 insights, Upland updates, and straight up real talk. And backed by popular demand, I do have Lightning Leg with me. So subscribe, learn something new, and maybe even get a little smarter than me. And honestly, it's not that hard to do. Welcome, Lightning Leg. Thank you so much for joining me a second week in a row.
Super excited. Have me anytime you feel like it. So I'll make myself available for you. So,
no, appreciate it. I mean, we had some good backstage conversation before the show went on. It's always great chatting and watching you in your journey through the Web3 journey. A little to the left today there, Swarley. I'm trying not to digress. You got me, Swarley.
Let me get up that chat too.
What's up, JP? Dopest crew. Let's hear. We got a lot to dive into this week. We have 3 stories that could be more different if we tried. Dogecoin somehow becoming serious finance. A Bitcoin whale wakes up after 13-year nap, and Wall Street's trying to turn crypto into a 10-year savings bond. Those are some of the stories we'll dive in there. From the Upland realm, they did release some numbers on the neighborhood ratings, along with the Sizzle Ornament Challenge going on. And once again, more service structures. We'll jump into that. And then we do have a couple of, I want to call them super detailed Web3 gaming stories. It's more of things behind the scenes of building out the games, I guess, is a way that I would list the stories, I guess, for this week from the gaming side of the house. So we'll jump into it. Where do you want? Oh, and most importantly, I have upped the giveaway for my property in San Francisco. So this week I am going to end up giving 145,000 UpX away instead of the 100,000 UpX. We had more people jump in this week, and then we also had some people not following the rules. But don't worry, you win a prize too. So everybody wins. And to make everybody win, I upped what I was giving out. So I do appreciate the people supporting it. And I'll tell you about the contest a little bit later so you can get on it. Next week, we do have, at least the first property. The first property in the behemoth is going to be complete in 3 weeks. So there's 3 weeks of staking left there. So, and then there's some big news on the Upland website too that we'll definitely cover today too. Something that's been missing for a long time. And I know I talked a lot there. Sorry about that, Lightning.
No worries. Were you talking about the Upland build, Sparklet renting mechanic?
Yeah. We'll jump into that a little later too. So, Obi-Wan, how we doing, sir? Good to see you.
Great to see you.
Yeah. Real Note LA in the house. Lily's in the house. Happy MFer. Always good to see you, buddy. Shambanging. I know. I always call him shambanging, though. I do it every time. I know it's bamming, but I want to do banging. I don't know. But yeah. Spies in the house. 6 Wicks. Good to see you. Yeah, I don't have somebody backstage today clicking this stuff for me, so I'm doing it all today. Oh, Shaq in the house. Yep.
Man, everybody's here.
Yeah, it's always a fun party. All our friends. So here's the big rundown. Dogecoin spiked about 20% this week, and a public company, CleanCore, just loaded up with over 500 million Doge for its treasury. That's about 125 million worth of meme coins sitting on their balance sheet. And to top it off, Rex Osprey filed for a Doge ETF here in the US. We're turning a joke of the internet into public companies saying, hey, this belongs next to our cash and bonds. what are your thoughts there on that one?
Thoughts there on that one? If you listen to the X Spaces, this is where meme coins and community come hand in hand because much like Bitcoin and much like a lot of the higher coins, sometimes these coins people just jump on it, and there's such a community backing. Like Dogecoin's been going since, like, the last time I heard it was opened in 2017, I think it was 2016.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
So correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, please. But there has been a solid community backing that coin since that time. So that's been almost 10 years. So that's 10 years of community input. That's 10 years of X Spaces. That's 10 years of how many people's time pumping that Dogecoin. So that's just another significant point into the addition of, communities can jump on coins and make a difference. So that's my kind of input on that one.
But to me, it still feels like I'm putting some Chuck E. Cheese tokens in my retirement portfolio. It's like it's you don't want to build your 401k on pizza tokens, but I mean you're right. Dogecoin's had a strong following for 8 years now, pushing almost 10 years. But it's just still hard for me to grasp the concept that we're putting it up in ETFs, and companies are holding it in their treasuries. So, and there you go, Happy. There's no real use case for this still at the moment.
So with in any of a lot of those coins, there's no use case in a lot of this. It's just people backing it and people putting value onto it. Much like the U.S. dollar. The government says it's a dollar is worth a dollar, and people are saying, well, Doge is worth this much. But unfortunately, with the crypto market, it's somebody has to lose for somebody to win, because in the end, we're not building a company, we're not really building value. It is just a token at this point, unless it's backed by a Web3 game or something like that, where you can kind of work backwards. But yeah, I agree with you there. Something speculative as a coin without backing, put it on the really low percentage of your portfolio. I would say a lower percentage.
Yeah. And and especially if the ETF gets approval and it launches, you can get exposure to it without having to set up a wallet or go on an exchange or anything. So anybody could trade it at that point in time. Um,
Yeah,
so
it's kind of crazy to see all these crypto coins starting into ETFs and starting to hit the stock market with a little bit of backing. I still don't know what to really think about that, because I've kind of segregated myself from the stock market. Just kind of went into the Web3 gaming space, and I know it's a little bit more risk, but I feel like we're building something special here anyway. So
yeah. I was wondering, you corrected yourself there, Happy, but I'm like, Etsy's a net. I'm like, man, I didn't know you were dabbling in Etsy too. I knew you were a good crypto guy. I didn't know you were dabbling on the Etsy market, and were a strong supporter, but you did correct yourself and say it was supposed to be ETH. So I'm following you. And to me, the bad news is that it's still Doge. It's a meme coin. No killer apps, no dominant user case, no guarantee. Um, it's just a coin. It's a coin with a community. So, I mean, we'll watch to see if the SEC actually approves the ETF. They drag their feet so long on the ETH and the Bitcoin. Number two, clean course playbook. Do they actually hold long term, or is just a publicity stunt, or are they going to dump 500 million Doge and it's going to look like a ski slope on the chart?
yeah, they definitely. It's a continuum. It's a continuous, gradual increase of the community pumping it that allows this to keep going. But it is definitely hard when I jump on those spaces and jump on the meme coin spaces. It is definitely hard to pull through to the end on some of those because there is not much. Like when we come down to meme, there is not much to talk about. Let's be honest. With no backing and whatnot, you, how much can you talk on the space about meme coins? there is not much except for you're hitting a lot. It's like a lottery ticket.
Yeah, and Doge was one of well, I mean, Doge was one of the first mainstream meme coins that cashed lottery tickets for people. There's been a lot out there, but nothing that hit mainstream mass appeal.
Well, I'd say Elon with Doge pumped it
Yeah,
pretty well. Well, when was that? Was that back in 2020,
2020,
2019?
21. It was
Yeah.
2020, 2021, somewhere around there that he pumped it. Yeah.
When you got that guy pumping something, it's just gonna go up for a while anyway.
Yeah. And as we can see, we do have people that believe in Doge in the audience too. I have a little bit just because, but yeah, not 125 million worth.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Shaq was saying it too there. Yeah, Dodge will last. It has community Musk and X. Yeah, there we go.
Yep.
Musk. There we go. Awesome.
Yeah. Now, moving in the opposite direction of the spectrum from meme coin to Bitcoin, a Bitcoin wallet dormant for 13 years suddenly moved 137 Bitcoin. That's about $16 million. That's kind of like did they lose their wallet and they just woke up? It's like finding a thing of 1950s baseball cards under your bed all of a sudden and be like, oh, I forgot about these. Or is it, or are they just transferring wallets now that they're like, hey, I'm just transferring my wallet to something better, more advanced. I don't know.
Well, the question is on that wallet. Was he just moving half of that wallet? Because he's probably made like if it's been 13 years, how much has he made? Like maybe 1,000%. When does it end?
Yeah.
Right. So at some point, like you see a lot of this in the crypto world as well, where people are actually moving half of their Bitcoin into meme coins and then shifting to hit that, because if you got a lot of Bitcoin, you got a lot of lottery tickets in the meme coin space, and all you got to do is hit one meme coin.
Yeah. Now,
So
I mean, the good thing here is it reminds people of Bitcoin's roots. Holders from way back when Bitcoin was under $1 are still out there. 13 years ago, it was not under $1. So it was definitely over $1 at that time. But it's they're moving coins all of a sudden, so that's interesting. But it's not the same nowadays when a whale moves that many coins around or that much volume around, because with Bitcoin you have all these ETFs that are pulling in billions of dollars now. So one person moving $16 million around, and it doesn't look like it went to an exchange. I couldn't tell if it went to an exchange or a different wallet, but back in the day, if a whale did something like that, you'd see some freak out in the space. But now that we have these ETFs, there's not as much retail panic in the pricing, I would see.
no, it definitely takes a lot to manipulate. I ran the numbers a couple of months ago with Michael Saylor, and from what he pulled out and put in, I think it made like was it like a 9% difference, 9 to 12% difference on that space, but it was privately transferred. So, but still, even a guy like that moving, I can't remember like how much Bitcoin it was, but it was you would think it would have been more, but the Bitcoin market is there is so much Bitcoin out there, and it is definitely hard to mine now. So, we're at the point where you have to be in those huge industrial complexes and starting to, rent those, or buy a miner and starting to rent out the space to be even able to make profit. So, it's hard.
Yeah, well, you saw that one person, they hit a block for $317,000. It was a single solo miner. It wasn't part of one of the
Oh my
big corporate.
goodness.
Yeah, just a couple of weeks ago they hit it.
One of those $45 ones.
They hit a full block for
Yeah.
three Bitcoin reward,
Wow.
or
Wow.
3.1 something. It was insane.
Yeah, but that is a lottery.
Yeah, that
So,
is it. I mean, it's the chances of you
odds of
doing
that.
that. Yeah, it's even higher than hitting the lottery. So
Yeah.
you got a better chance of hitting the lottery than you do eh, getting a solo
Is it
block.
is it still 10 minutes? Every 10 minutes, one is released. I think.
Uh, I'm not sure. I have not checked on that lately.
Yeah, I was trying to remember. That it was. I think it was like either 10 minutes. I think it was 10 minutes. Help us out in the chat, like if you guys can look it up, because I'm pretty sure it was 10 minutes. Every 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. Now, there's, you know, whales matter, but institutes moving through ETFs may matter a whole lot more now. We'll continue to watch this in the space. We can wrap up the crypto news with the Wall Street angle. CBOE wants to roll out a continuous Bitcoin and Ethereum futures contract, 10-year deals, not just monthly expirations. This is where crypto starts looking like a wild casino, stops looking like a wild casino and more like bonds. If approved, it lets institutions hedge or speculate long term with rolling over contracts every month. That's huge for pension funds, hedge funds, big corporations. I mean, this is stuff that people have been wanting and speculating for years now.
Yeah. Oh, level up tech says, yeah, 10 minutes, every 10 minutes. Good. I wanted that bit of confirmation for that. But when we talk about getting into hedge funds, and when we talk about hitting the mass market, this is where it becomes easy for people to jump in, and this is where it takes the edge from people that are looking to get a little bit ahead of the manipulation and the control of the market. So it's interesting to see where the people that have been looking ahead, like people early into Bitcoin, people early into Ethereum, are now looking maybe a step further, as a lot of the banks and whatnot start jumping into this, and a lot of the stocks start jumping into this. What is the next step to stay ahead is the question, because there will be saturation.
Oh, absolutely. The good news is it's more legitimacy to Bitcoin, more tools. Institutions love regulated, predictable products. 10 years future contract is basically saying, yes, welcome crypto. You are here to stay and you can play with the big boys.
Oh yeah.
But the bad news is regulators have not approved this yet. And even if they do, liquidity might be thin. 10 years is a long time to be in position, and weird things can happen if the market's not deep enough. And I'm not smart enough to calculate all that with total supply and available supply and wrapping it up. So I'm not that smart.
Well, the good thing about this is that it's not going anywhere. So if they're talking about regulating it, it's not going anywhere. So the people that have been pioneers in the space and earlier on in the space are going to be reaping the benefits of this. So,
Oh, absolutely. It, and I don't know. Can you say you're early into Bitcoin anymore?
you know, we talk about like compounding interest and whatnot. No, at this point, it is hard to say how much the community is going to jump on this. It is the first blockchain technology, so it'll always have that to it, and it'll always have the community to it. But you know, in the end, at the same time, we're not really building anything, and you still have to, like, somebody has to lose for somebody to win at the same time. So it's like, you know, same with Doge. At least we have transparency in this space, and that's what I like, the blockchain transparency.
Oh, yeah. And that's what I was thinking, Happy. I just keep thinking of, 10 years ago, 13 years ago, Berkshire Hathaway was 100,000 a share. And you're just like, man, I don't know if I could get into it. Well, one, it's expensive. You couldn't just buy partial shares at the time. But trying to get into something like that, but Bitcoin's 100,000 and we're like, oh yeah, that you're still early in, you can still 10x this thing. And it's just insane thinking about that.
Well, especially now with what everything's going on, expendable income's definitely decreasing for a lot of people, and cost of living. It's crazy to think that yeah, you can at least it is, you can buy pieces of it, but it's getting harder and harder to save for those investments for sure.
Oh, absolutely. So to to wrap this segment up, we got Dogecoin graduating from meme to ETF candidate, Bitcoin whales dusting off wallets older than TikTok, and Wall Street trying to turn crypto into a respectable long-term asset class. It's hype, history, and heavy finance all at once. So don't get lost in the memes. Don't panic about the whales, and don't ignore the boring stuff, because stable, regulated products are where the long-term futures are being built. Let's see here. So we'll do a quick giveaway. Give this stuff away. Now, last week, let me share up my Upland screen. Oh, I'm traveling. Oh, why did it do that? I forgot I was traveling. So it always makes it difficult. I just wish like you can travel and it's in the background and it doesn't zoom you out and tell you how long you got remaining, and
Oh
it can
yeah.
be a pain. All right. So thinking. All right, there we go. Got that up and moving. So last week I did say that I was changing the rules because it wasn't fair to everyone that was staking, because some people were getting in for a minimum. And I said that, to be entered for the UpX giveaway in Upland, you have to stake a minimum of 1,000 UpX. Somebody did reach out and they were 30 UpX, or I mean, not 1,000 Sparklet. I'm sorry, 1,000 Sparklet. Somebody did reach out and they were 30 short, but they put it all in. So I gave them grace there. Some people kept it still low. So Land Up 7, Laban, Maui, Sir Red, and Ratatouille 57. You will all win 5 map assets. I will be dropping them in your account. I'll be reserving them. I can't drop things in your account. I'll be reserving them for you this weekend. So each of you won 5 map assets, each from Spooky Dookies. So congratulations there. If you want to get involved in the drawing for UpX, please make sure you're staking at least a minimum of 1,000 Sparklet on 2675 Gary Boulevard. And we do got some new people this week. And we'll get into the UpX drawing a little later in the show. There's the X. Changed things around so much. So this week, we'll talk a little Upland here. This week, Upland did announce the Resident Score Part 2. Builder City Scores Shaping Upland. Was there anything that blew caught your eye with this announcement there, Lightning?
I'm just super excited they're coming out with this, because I definitely have to change my game plan, and definitely have to modify my account to definitely get more Sparkle to start building. I was waiting for a lot of nodes to let me know what's going on, but I think I just might have to try to go on the fly and build
Oh
to
yeah.
get these scores up. I got to catch up to Elijah Judah and all those guys.
I mean, they've been building for years. And
Yeah.
that's where I kick myself too. I always talked on the show about making sure you took advantage of when the different when the Spark exchange was up and there were other Spark rentals up there, to take advantage of the low prices, because it's going to be important to have all your properties built out. And I built out basically none of mine. Um, so I'm way behind the game. I'm probably way behind you too. And it was good news to see UpX Land launching the Sparklet staking hub.
Yeah, definitely. We got what was it? Was it Twilk running a Sparklet as well? So we got a bunch of different areas where people can rent Sparklet out. Oh, that's Twists. That was Twist that was doing that as well. So,
Yeah.
um, you know, the demand is so high right now. Like, it is going to be rocking. Anybody that comes up with a Sparklet exchange is going to be rocking, because I'm even like, I haven't done it for years, and I'm starting to think about it now too. Speed up my building progress, and we got Sparkade, we got Twist, now we got UpX Land, and they are all going to be full. I think as soon as people start realizing what they can do with those Sparklet exchanges as well. So
Oh yeah. Now were you surprised by any of the top 5 cities that they announced?
No, based on the nodes and just the amount of players. We always knew that LA was going to be a place. We got Chadsworth, we got Granada Hills, we got El Sereno, we got the Hyde Park Ninjas with anyway. But there's also other nodes going on there. There's downtown. There's Winnetka. There's there's all these other nodes that are past the main 4 that are working their butts off as well. So no, there was no surprise. A little bit, Chicago was a bit of a surprise for me, but it is the bigger city. But I wasn't I know we have a bunch of nodes there with Portage Park, and we have starts with an N. Oh my goodness. Yeah, but we got a couple there. 3 or 4 big ones, but I wasn't aware that we had enough to sustain at least a good uppies coverage.
Yeah, I was surprised by New Orleans.
Oh yeah, me too.
I was surprised. Los
Definitely
Angeles,
good.
Queens, Chicago, Vegas, New Orleans. I was surprised not to see Manhattan, but also Manhattan was still early on in the game, and
I thought
I know
Manhattan was on there.
the most. I was
Was
talking
it?
the most populous cities today.
Oh, popular. Oh, gotcha,
Yeah, yeah.
gotcha.
So top ranking cities with highest rank, which is the combination of residence and occupancy rate, which was Los Angeles, Queens, Las Vegas, Chicago, and Manhattan. So
Well,
seeing Manhattan as a top ranked city, I was surprised that it wasn't a populous city.
yeah. Well, Queens has always been a hub. It feels like between. I was surprised Detroit wasn't in there, to be honest with you. Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot
I
going on
thought
in Detroit.
yeah. But from that time period, from LA or from Chicago, we had Chicago all the way from Queens. It feels like that's been the most popular areas for uppies, and that was what pretty much those were all released within a year time frame, if I'm correct. I think
Yeah, yeah.
a year and a half, maybe.
Now, looking at the top influencer scores, I was excited to see Prospect Gold on there. He's an OG from back in the day, and he made it to the first Genesis week, and then he didn't make the second one, and then he made it to last year or the third one. So I was excited to see he's still active, and I always enjoy talking with Prospect Gold. And then names we see a lot: Acroproppy, Dizzy, Drifter, Upland, Dinger, Elijah Judah, Mental Healst, uh, Ken666, Bets25. I wasn't familiar with Anders68 though. That was a new name to me.
Yeah, I know him. I know him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't know everybody.
No, you can't. You can't. We try. We try.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's pretty hard.
We do try. And then there was no surprise in the landlords. Abdullah, TM, Dizzy, Elijah jumped over a lot of people. Congratulations there, Elijah. Upland Dinger, Cheesy Poof, Acero, Locky, Phoenix Finney, and Wamawa.
I'm going to be trying to get into there. We'll be
Yeah.
trying.
But now that but so's a lot of other people. Now that they release these
Yeah.
numbers, they're like, all right, what do I got to do? What do I got to tweak? You're going to have people looking at the accounts, analyzing what they're doing, looking, seeing how they're set up. But it's going to take a while to catch you. And it was nice seeing that the Sparklet staking hub, that the price for Sparklet per hour is still relatively cheap. It's still relatively cheap, so you can get in there and get stuff built. I'm not going to give you the best advice on how to do it because I'm not. Now, I usually go in there and offer right above, whatever the lowest price is, or the highest price that hasn't been staked. I'll usually offer extra UpX or UpX and a half to make
Well,
sure that mine gets built out.
at least it's a way to use your UPX to build instead of having to buy USD for the Sparklet. But whatever works best for you. So
Yeah, good point, Wizzo. Building too early had people putting buildings blocking further development and now forced to destroy old buildings for new construction. Yeah.
and that is why I was in the waiting game for so long. I was still building, but I was just building kind of randomly, and then I was trying to position everything out so I could save properties for the other ones. But yeah, no, it's definitely got to start jumping in and putting out some of the, at least there's a good variety of those service structures now that I think we can work with what we got.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Now that'll be interesting to see when the uppies go live, how the things change.
Yeah, and when they plan to add maybe some UPX earnings for uppies as well. So people have been working hard, especially the last couple weeks, trying to assess where they should be building to maximize that potential.
Oh yeah. It's interesting to watch, and you know continues the the service structures. They announced more today. Um, Service structures and the use of that are continuing the demand for Sparklet and the sales for Sparklet.
It's super exciting to see this change, though, man. To see them start to jump into, it's definitely not just a property trading game anymore. It's you've been focused on monthly dividends, but you even see that adjustment with people having to, probably liquidate, well, not liquidate, but sell some of their um, account just to grab some Sparklet. So
Yeah, I mean, on August 11th, Sparklet was 1.79 cents, and right now we're looking at 2.929 cents. So we're about 3 cents. We're doing pretty good over the just the
88
last month.
88% increase.
Uh, yeah, yeah,
Close to there. So it's super exciting, man, and that is just, you can see the continual growth. We may have to add a different mechanic on top of this in the next couple months just to keep it fresh, because we've already seen some service structures that have been similar or the same, or they've added two services per one structure. So, I was waiting to see when they were going to double up. They've already doubled up a little bit, but they are coming out with some new services for these structures. So, very interesting. Very interesting. Definitely got to keep an eye on everything.
Eh, I mean, I this is probably too complex, but it would be interesting to see them be able to launch a strip mall, and in that strip mall, the uppies can determine what buildings went in there,
That'd be cool. And
or the strip mall having multiple meta ventures right there, so you could charge rent to meta ventures. But let's just get the uppies first.
yeah, there. This is what we love about Upland. They've built the economy first, or they've built the property trading game first, built the economy and the trading and the trading volume and whatnot, and then they're gradually building the game around the community and the trading volume. So, you know, we don't see this a lot, and we don't see this at all in other Web3 games. So, where the economy is being built before kind of the game, and they're building the game as the economy has grown. So, it's super exciting for me to see and to delve into all the other projects and realize that, man, that this is flipping cool how they've built this.
Yeah, and as you've been dedicating your time over the last year to these different metaverses, you have a good insight to Upland's competition out there. And what are some of your big takeaways that you've seen playing in the other metaverses versus playing in Upland?
So these other metaverses, they all have, they have pluses and minuses, but none of these metaverses have built their economy like Upland has. They haven't. They weren't a property trading game before this. They just kind of mass put out, like, even other side. They put out 100,000 properties, and I remember the exact day when they came out, and they sold out in a little bit. They crashed the Ethereum blockchain, and you know they're all gone, right? But as Upland grows, they really are building value for every user in here. Sandbox, you can build games. Decentraland is more social. My Neighbor Alice is a farming game, metaverse farming game, so it takes a lot more of your time when you're trying to build your account. Where Upland, you had a bunch of properties, you could grab that monthly dividends, and you could increase. Now they have the weekly tasks where just got to do a little bit, but when you come down to the time, Upland definitely does. People complain about these weekly tasks, but it is not. I guarantee you, it is not the time that I've spent at the other metaverses. It is the least amount of time to build your account in Upland. That hands down with all the other metaverses. So I do like some of the other communities with those other metaverses, but they do not have the traction that we do with the communities. All the YouTube influencers that are on here putting out content, they do not have that. So their growth is somewhat stagnant, but they definitely need a lot more community backing. Whereas, hands down, like, this is why it was time for me to jump into the Web3 gaming space, and maybe too stupid as well, because for me, it's not about is Upland going to succeed. Is about when, because we got so much content coming out there. And when you look at DApp Radar, and you look at all those play to earn website as well, the play to earn website, you can see the fight for attention is so insane with the amount of projects that are out there. And I've actually categorized them as small, middle, large. So you got a small one that'll be about 5,000. You got a medium one that'll be about 30,000 to 50,000, and you got the big ones that'll be about 150,000 to 200,000. So you can just take the amount of projects that are there, and then you can actually calculate how big the Web3 gaming space is, and you can have a good idea. So there is a huge fight for attention, to be honest with you. And a lot of these Web3 games, especially the smaller ones that do not have, we talked about Dirk Luth in his book, and we talked about land. Land is key in the metaverses that we're looking into, because they give resources, they give different aspects to the gaming space, and that is definitely key, because we see a lot of Web3 games that they'll just have the token in the game, but zero economy. So you're basically hoping for people to jump in and a community to jump in to back it. And this is why there's so many failures. So I ran the numbers last week on this, and there was about 200 legitimate Web3 games and metaverses, and there was 2,500 that have failed in the last three to 5 years. So run the numbers on that, and that's Web3 gaming is almost like a lottery ticket too. So you definitely have to find these communities that are willing to come out, show themselves, like Upland had, and it definitely upped the ante for me jumping into Web3. So this is my stipulation for jumping in, and this is why I jumped into My Neighbor Alice. They have a game night tomorrow morning that I'll be jumping on at 5 a.m. in the morning, my time, and I'll be in that for 40 minutes, and then I got to run to work, but that goes to about 6 o'clock. So, and the community managers, founders jump in. The VP of Chromia Games will be jumped in like yesterday there. So if you're building in Web3, you have to come out. You have to come out, and you have to show yourself, because nobody's going to jump into a game that they're like, if you're not showing yourself and you're not telling us how cool it is. Get somebody, get a community manager, get a streamer. It is hard to find streamers. We get that, but if you can't find somebody, you got to jump on yourself and you got to shill it. You got to jump on the X Spaces. You got to get on social media, and like other than that, it's gonna fail because it gets lost in the thousands of games that are out there.
Oh, absolutely. And going back to the gamified earnings, this is the first time in the history of Upland that I'm going to earn under 14.7%. I just was busy this time of year with the kids going back to school and all that. And I just wasn't able to complete the tasks. And I'm like, oh, I got to do this. And then all of a sudden a kid bugs me about something. And then I'm like, oh no. Yeah, it was just frustrating because I'm a person that loves the interest rate percentage. This season I was making 17% because of the wars and because of finishing all the tasks here in the badge. So I'm not going to get a badge either. So I was disappointed in not getting my 2x badge there either. Disappointing.
Yeah. I'm it hasn't happened to me yet, but I try to stay on top of it. Yeah, metaverse. So you got metaverse with a small m. So metaverse, you got a Fortnite and you got a Roblox. The small metaverse m is a Roblox or a Fortnite, where there's no blockchain. As soon as you add a blockchain, it's a big M, to me. And 2030. Yeah, but we also have to get to a point. So what got me jumping in is we got to get to a point where people want to earn, and in the space, and we can see a lot of we do see people jumping in for entertainment as well. But as far as earning, so that is what kind of catapulted my interest into the space, is the earning aspect, because I was done with stock markets. I was done with the outside, the inside manipulation. So I wanted to jump out and I wanted to get into decentralized platforms, or as much as decentralized as you can get. Yeah. When we jump, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
When we jump into Roblox and we jump into Fortnite, people build games, people build items in Fortnite and Roblox, but that has no backing on the blockchain. So let's say an application or a developer decides to do something with that, with Roblox or Fortnite, then even if for everything that you earned in Roblox, it's gone, right? So, unfortunately, it has the community backing. So I do think everything will be fine, and you can still have that market there, but there is no blockchain linkage to Roblox. So, and that's why it has the small m on that.
Yeah. Now, and then speaking of community really quick, I lost track of time. I did want to hit these plugs. So coming up starting tomorrow night, if you haven't seen it and you haven't been planning, there's still a chance. You have the East Coast meetup in Philadelphia with Upland Terra and Das Mustang. So that's going on 12th, 13th, and 14th. Definitely check that out. Now, if you're unable to make that, you can go ahead and catch myself and TM here in Cleveland, Ohio, and we'll be doing a meetup. I know the dates say the 17th, 18th, and 19th. Primary day is going to be the 18th, but hopefully to see the people from Ohio, Michigan, Kentucky, West Virginia, Western Pennsylvania. Hope you guys can make that out. So it will be a fun time. We're going to go check out some ultra rare properties in Cleveland, just hang out, talk Upland, and got some cool stuff planned. The more people that confirm, the better it will be. But scan that QR code, and that takes you to the Discord, and we have an RSVP section in there to help me know who's coming and whatnot. Looking forward to the people that have already signed up, and it's going to be a fun time. And if you don't live on the East Coast or the Midwest or close enough to the Midwest to Cleveland, we have a West Coast meetup, and this one has the one and only co-founder of Upland, Dirk, joining the West Coast meetup, and that's hosted by Shacklin and Mesme, and that's going on in Alameda, California, and San Francisco, California, Friday, November 7th, and Saturday, November 8th. Oh, back to the Midwest meetup. People do want to go. The 19th, the Cleveland Browns play the Miami Dolphins. We could go do some tailgating. I know a bunch of people that tailgate, so we could have a fun time Sunday morning tailgating. So who knows what shenanigans we'll get into in the Midwest meetup. But yes, if you're on the West Coast, go hang out with Dirk, Jacqueline, and Mesme, and enjoy the brewing company and do a tour of Alcatraz. Just hopefully you don't get stuck there.
Many block explorers do. Yeah. Does anybody in the chat live close to Spokane? Because I live 2.5 hours from Spokane, Washington. I'm in Canada, but I'm at the border. So let me know. We can set up something for there at some point.
Sunday morning whiskey. Sure, why not? It's tailgating. Twix up in that area.
Yeah, he's like 4 hours. He's 4 hours from Spokane.
Okay.
He was saying to me. I know Twix close to there.
Yeah. Yep. There he goes.
Yeah. I haven't met any Uplanders yet, so I'm looking forward to meeting some in person at some point.
Yeah. Also, as we're talking about Web3 gaming, and you were talking, it was interesting that you did the calculations of how many games that failed the 2,500 ish over the last 3 or 4 years. And in July, Web3 gaming pulled in around 60 million in fresh funding. That's a 94% jump from the month before. I was trying to find the numbers for August, just not out yet. And it looks like the investors aren't chasing the token hype anymore. They're targeting games that put fun first. So that's what we were talking about with Upland. They built the economy, they built the community, and this is kind of that style. They're looking for these projects that put the fun first. And most early Web3 games played like glorified spreadsheets with NFTs taped on it. So I mean, and the first ones in got the most out of it. It was just insane back in the day watching some of these people. They dump in 10, 15, 20,000 and then all of a sudden they're pulling out 100, 200, 300,000 and everybody's jumping in and then the people jumping in are left holding the bag. So the people that I was watching doing it weren't rug pulling. They were just in the projects early and were able to maximize and benefit the most out of it. So it was, they got in, they got out, and they knew how to play the game. So now,
yep.
Yeah. So fun first is vague though. And we've seen cash grabs, rug pulls, and just economies collapse in the Web3 games. So there's still a lot of risk, and the funding just feeds the next round of, could this funding just feed the next round of shallow clones? We'll watch whether any of these funded projects actually ship and respect gameplay as much as tokenomics.
Well, that's some great feedback for sure. So if there's investments going in, that means people are jumping in. People are realizing that there's opportunities here, and we're a big thing in these Web3 metaverses is community and building. Not a lot of economy, not a lot of marketplaces transferring, because we've seen other side metaverse, their properties were 5,000 to 6,000. Now I can buy one at 500, and we're seeing Decentraland was at like 10,000. I bought mine for 130, and I bought my sandbox one for 170 USD. So you can see the economies weren't built at that time. But you can see that especially with Sandbox, they do have a lot of streamers, but they actually I was watching a couple of their streamers, and Sandbox bought all their streamers and put them under the Sandbox brand. So that was interesting to see. I didn't see that with any of the other metaverses. So they're definitely under Sandbox employment. Because I was thinking of partnering with Panda Pops, who is also in the Sandbox metaverse, because she's an expert in that. But they took them. So that's how that went. But you can see it's all about building now. It's about building and interacting with community. And we talk about entertainment and fun. We're still at the level where we're not going to be a GTA. You know, if GTA, they're going to have blockchain issues. You know, I was listening to Steve Henberg, you know, VP of Chromia Games with My Neighbor Alice, and he was telling us what it takes a blockchain game, just the task of grabbing a fishing rod in My Neighbor Alice and putting it out there. How many, like, the the transfer from a fungible token to a non-fungible token and how it interacts with the blockchain, you know, it just kind of like changed my mindset on that too. Is like, you know what, all these AAA games, they don't even know, like, they may have some sort of economy, but when it comes to blockchain, I don't think they, you know, it's going to take years for them to be able to develop anything that would be substantial.
Yeah. Now, even speaking of, this story goes right along with the 60 million investment and looking at the future, but Web3 gaming could get a huge tailwind if Washington passes more pro crypto laws. They're pushing bills right now in Washington to make DeFi, NFTs, and tokens less of a legal gray zone. And if that happens, we could expect way more studios to jump in. It lowers the risk because these large companies don't want to expose themselves to something in a gray area. And it also opens the doors to banks and platforms, and it might even make Web3 features show up in games you're already playing, as you were just discussing. So it it takes forever. Laws take forever, and sometimes friendly laws have hidden restrictions, and the public still sees crypto as scammy. So there's a perception battle too. But I bet you as time goes on, some of these bills will actually get through, and we'll see how some of the bigger platforms do. You know, Google Play Store, Apple. I mean, they do host some, and Steam React if the laws pass. And will it open the doors for the AAA studios to add Web3 in a way that doesn't feel shady?
Yeah, the time it takes regulation to come through, that's unfortunately that's a lot of the time it takes for games to fail. So
Yes.
so definitely look into the higher end games, because they definitely got a bit more of the funding to sustain, you know, maybe a 2 year regulation outlook. So you know, unfortunately that's the name of the game in the Web3 space. Hmm. Now, like, the question is, are we looking, is like, in people in the chat, are we looking for more like a metaverse style experience? Are we looking for Web3 gaming? So there's a huge difference between Web3 gaming and metaverses. So Web3 gaming, you know, there's no land, there's no economy. You go in to have fun. You maybe earn a couple. You maybe earn a couple NFTs, have some fun with those NFTs, and maybe you can sell them. Where when you come to a metaverse, you have land. You're looking to build your account. You're looking to. It's more of a play to earn experience. A builder experience, and as people come in, they start building theirs, and then, you know, they want to maybe advance their account quicker, so they jump into the metaverse and start buying those governance tokens, and then they convert that to maybe the crypto token linked to that game, etc. So you know, it's just about when somebody jumps in, ask them, you know, what are their goals. If their goal is to have fun and maybe, you know, earn an NFT like a GTA, and then be able to sell it later, you know, if that's your goal, that's your goal. But, you know, in all five metaverses that I'm in, it's all about building and community, and building that account up so that you can build value. Whereas the Web3 games, you can maybe earn a couple NFTs and maybe buy and sell and trade.
No, absolutely. And then Puppet asked, do you know of any AAA games that have made progress in this way? Not at this time. I have not seen any AAA studios make any announcing Web3 blockchain features on any flagship titles or anything big right now. I really think they're waiting for this gray area to be wrapped up with laws or some form of regulation.
For me, I would say the closest to a AAA game has been Illuvium. It's not
Okay.
it's not it's not part of OMA 3, It is very. I think they spent 500 million to build that game. So it is. I don't talk about it much because you can buy land on it. I haven't really done my homework because it's not part of the OMA 3, and it's not really a huge metaverse. So you can earn resources. So the economy is kind of like not as you can't earn as much, but it's definitely a triple. It definitely feels like a AAA game. Beautifully, kind of first person shooter, but more Pokemon style. So you can earn some really cool illuviums. So that is probably the closest thing that I have seen to a AAA game. If the other side metaverse were to amp up its development and they would have more experiences, they got a bathroom, other side bathroom concept that's going to be coming out in the next couple of weeks. We'll see how that goes as a first person shooter. With a almost like a Fortnite style in a bathroom with a lot of with all your NFTs, and we talk about interoperability as well.
Okay.
And like a lot of your NFTs, you can throw into that metaverse and you can use them in the first person shooter style. So
yeah, see how that goes. You'll have to keep us updated on that one.
yeah, we got a game night on Saturday. So for the other side metaverse, it's Saturday. For me, it's 12 p.m. PT time. So it's 3 o'clock ET time. So EST time.
Yep.
So launch.otherside.xyz if you want to jump in and see what they're offering. So
No. Definitely let us know how that goes.
yeah, I'll let you know. I hope I don't forget. I shouldn't forget. I got it in my calendars.
There you go.
And we even talked about like even Decentraland in November. I think it's November. They got like a little concert thing that's coming out, and we had Groove Setter in OMA 3 as well. So they can definitely work with that latency factor and modify that and have that one feed going into Decentraland, and they can have a concert. So if anybody's into music in the chat, or if anybody knows of any musicians, they got. And there's going to be winnings, etc. for concerts, and there's going to be ratings and whatnot. So they got some stuff going on in the other metaverses. They're really trying hard to get that community back and get that going, because they're also part of OMA 3 as well. So
yeah, okay, awesome. Now it's time to give away some UpX. All right, let's see here. This one will be for 10,000 UpX. What do we have here for Courier? Let's see here. All right, remove for Courier. Congratulations there. This one will be for 15,000 UpX. Ooh, Trendy Pop. Congratulations, 10 Trendy Prop. All right, go with 5,000 UpX. Got a Ka-chow.
Ka-chow!
I gotta put some sort of music on. It's kind of silent as it's spinning there. They changed things around. Oh, I didn't upload the background music. More music. All right. I'll do that one later. All right. No music today. Moving on. This one will be for 7,500 UpX. Fabs. Congratulations. All right. Let's do another 5K giveaway. Mikey Benzie. Congrats. This one will be for 25K. Man. This guy gets lucky, the unpronounceable name.
that's because it's unpronounceable. Maybe I should be changing up my name.
Right? All right. This one's for 10K. I am Redbeard.
I'll always remember that name.
Yeah. You were telling us the story.
Well, he's the one. Yeah, he's the one that won the 950,000 UPX
Yeah.
treasure chest. Yeah.
5K. Angry. This one will be 7.5K. John Fitzwell. Congratulations. This one will be for, let's see here, 25K. Nice job, Bets. Congratulations. Let's see here. This is a 5K winner. Plaza 86. Congratulations there. And then we have, okay, is this one going to be 10K or 15K there, Lightning?
We'll go with 15.
All right, 15K right here.
You're welcome, Wolf Owner.
And then, AKA 9 figures, you win 10,000 UPX. Congratulations.
Everybody is a winner.
Everybody's a winner. Hey, and you got the 5 people that got map assets, and I will have your map assets dropped to you and your UPX dropped to you by the end of the weekend. So usually I get it done on Friday, but you never know what happens on Fridays. It's always chaos here. Thank you so much, Lightning Leg, for joining me this week. It made it very easy. My wife was out of town, so I was just trying to keep my head above water all week. So it was an interesting week this week. We got into some wild conversations in the car. My youngest daughter was on this whole "when can I have babies" thing, and then my son was talking about what we told her that she can't have babies anytime soon, this and that, and she insisted that the family needed another baby. And then my oldest son jumps in and he's like, well, dad had a surgery, so he can't have that done. And then she wanted to know about the surgery and why it I'm like, dude, what are you doing? I'm like, we're not having this conversation. And I'm like, you're killing me.
Yeah, so your kids are asking for another baby, and man, we played a trick on my oldest son a couple years ago, and we said that, hey, by the way, you realize that mommy's pregnant, and he freaked out. He's like, not another one. Ah! he was crying.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I got that surgery done at like 24. So
oh
yeah, but.
Hey, Trendy Prop, you won 15,000. Thanks for joining right at the end. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining. You got anything before we get out of here for the week?
No, just keep on trucking, keep on building your account, join all the communities, follow all the YouTubers, the amazing YouTubers in Upland, because this is what's building the game, and Upland to the moon. When we're putting out the content out there every single week, and yeah, loving it. I love seeing all the new cities and jumping into all those new cities and seeing all those new players in, and it gives me chills up and down my spine to see where this could go. So
yeah, nice. All right, everybody, be safe, have fun. We'll see you next week.